A warm welcome to you all for today's session, that is how to set up a social lab. As we all know, after NEP 2020 has been introduced and has been put in practice in all the institutions, experiential learning has been given more importance and hands-on learning has given more importance. So in this, what do we say, in this practice of giving experiential learning and hands-on learning to the students, labs play a very significant role. So these days, along with the composite science labs, biology lab, and physics lab, and all, social labs are also, highly discussed about. So today we have our resource person, Monica Motwani from Gujarat, who is going to give us simple but very exclusive knowledge about as in how to set up the social labs in our school. So let us welcome her with a big round of applause. And the screen is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for the warm welcome. The basic to start up with the social lab is already been forwarded by sir. Thank you for the same. How to set up a social lab? The first question that arises in our mind. A social lab is a collaborative space where people come from different backgrounds and they come together to solve a complex societal problem. For example, there are many social labs being set up. The Sustainable Food Lab, which works on improving food systems for sustainability. It's an example. The next one is Ringo Social Lab. It works to foster innovation in global civil society through its efforts. Let's come to the next slide, sir. Sir, I can't scroll the second one. Let's understand the concept or the understanding of a social lab and what are the basic key characteristics of a social lab. The first one is collaborative, which engages multiple perspectives and foster a rich environment for innovation. That means cooperation and teamwork is a big source which can help us to run a social lab. Next one is experimental. For that, let's have a look at the one video first, and then I'll go through the explanation as well. So the video.
Different ways. Social science research can help us understand how people and societies make decisions using a number of methods. One method we use is lab experiments. In experiments, you can model situations based on real life to understand how people react when faced with such decisions. Hi, my name is Kim Win.
And I'm Alize Batra. We will show you how lab experiments at the Social Science Experimental Lab at NYU Abu Dhabi help us improve our understanding of human behavior. Suppose you and a friend share an apartment with a common kitchen and bathroom. Both of you use the kitchen and bathroom equally, and both of you would like to have a clean apartment. However, neither of you like to clean and would prefer that the other person does the cleaning. You would like to free ride on the cleaning of your friend and vice versa. You and your roommate face a common situation, a failure to cooperate. Such situations are common in everyday life. In many ways, we need to cooperate with others by sharing resources or achieving something as a group. But how can we study how people make decisions on whether to cooperate or not?
One way is to bring humans to the lab and have them engage in similar situations that require cooperation and observe how they behave. We create a game that they play which captures the conflict in preferences that they have when cooperation fails outside the lab. Some people might ask, why bother creating the situation in the lab? Why don't we just send a survey and ask these questions directly? But people are not always honest in survey responses or willing to answer such questions or even know why they make the choices they do.
Moreover, outside of the lab, there are a lot of external factors that influence behavior. In games of cooperation, you might be more willing to clean the apartment if your friend pays more rent or if your friend cleaned the previous time. Conversely, if you both hate cleaning intensely and think there will be high costs to giving in, cooperation may be much more unlikely.
In the lab, we can control these factors and assign subjects to situations randomly, and then we can answer if X causes Y. If it does, then it has implications for outside of the lab on what helps and does not help cooperation. You can observe hundreds of people, but in a natural setting, there's no way you can monitor hundreds of observations and be sure X causes Y.
So we can study in the lab whether differences in preferences affect how people cooperate. We can change many small details and study their effects. We can add in communication and measure how communication affects behavior, or we can study cooperation problems in groups. We can also have subjects actually cooperate on a physical activity, such as cleaning in the lab itself.
But the problem of cooperation failures can be even more significant. For example, when countries across the globe are trying to reach agreements to reduce global warming and the effects of climate change, the changes countries need to make involve sacrifices that they often do not wish to make. Reaching an agreement to cooperate and maintaining that agreement is far from simple.
Understanding how you and your friend choose to clean when faced with the opportunity to free ride can provide information on why humans in other situations often fail to cooperate, and perhaps how we can increase the probability of cooperation among countries in dealing with important issues. An experiment in the lab with controlled factors can isolate outcomes based on behaviors exhibited in the lab, as in the game of cooperation. These observations inform researchers how we decide to share things with our friends and even give us some insights into the obstacles involved in solving climate change.
How does anyone start using the Social Science Experimental Lab at NYU Abu Dhabi? And how do we ensure the experiments are safe and confidential?
We are staffed with experienced researchers who can not only help in study design but also answer questions regarding ethical responsibility. Each study undergoes a rigorous ethical approval process to make sure that participant and stakeholder welfare is at the heart of our research. Visit us at the Social Science Experimental Lab.
Ma'am, you're on mute. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. So in this way, as we have visualized this, we are able to understand that how experimentally a social lab could work for us, and how for a small single thing like just a cleanliness in the home or at your places, how you can adjust with various techniques and methods, which describes new ideas or techniques that are tested to see how well does it works in a particular environment. Next is user-centric way of which is said to be like where we prioritize the needs and experiences of the community, ensuring the relevant impact. Means as per the need of the user and customer satisfaction, how we can work upon the concept of the same. So the next slide, please. First of all, in a social lab, we have to define our mission and objective. How will it work for the social lab for one particular search or research that we are doing on? The first thing is we have to identify the core issues. Core issues means um, Core issues means that they are the most important things to for which we have to work upon, right? So understand the social challenges or aim to address to create a focused mission. So whenever we are working upon a particular thing, first we have to identify or focus on the root causes to address a systematic way on how we can solve a particular issue. The next coming is engaging stakeholders. Collaborative with community members to ensure that your objectives are relevant and they are very impactful because they are engaging or they are contributing their time, their money, their various ideas, and even their locations and places for your testings. So, by involving the stakeholders in decision making and giving them a regular feedback throughout the process of the project that you are doing is very much important because they are the main sources or the resources for you. So it is very necessary, even when in a big company some financial inputs are being given by the stakeholders, you have to they have to be known about all the matters, steps, and the data collection that you have that you're working upon to engage them throughout the project till it comes to an end. Next comes is to set up smart goals. Every time it is very much important to define the goals that are very specific. They should be measurable, they should be achievable and relevant also. And the most important thing in this complete criteria of searching or researching for one particular objective is to have a time bound for the clarity that in how much time that object or objective can be achieved or the mission can be made successful, which are specific and measurable. Next slide, sir. What happens when it comes to building a multidisciplinary team? What are the essentials that are required for us? Because everybody who is coming in this team is from a diverse background. They have got different mindsets to follow, and they have got their own way of giving their views towards the same. So a diverse team assembly is there, which includes researchers, community leaders. It is not only the researchers, like in science laboratories, generally we have the scientists that work upon the same, and the ground or the field level people are hardly there. So that is a different concept. But when it comes to a social lab, it includes researchers and community leaders also. The people who are running the country, the people who are the leaders in their own specific ways, they are specialized towards knowing and having complete knowledge about some particular topic that we are researching upon. They give their views on them. Some are the designers. To design a rocket has got a different science, and to design a particular problem solving issue is a different thing. So there are different designers also for how to solve a particular issue. Policy experts to cover all necessary perspectives. Here I want to clarify this point, that what is policy expert? A policy expert possesses some very deep knowledge of a particular policy domains, such as, even if it could be a healthcare, education, environment, and economic policies that are there, for which we generally as lame people are not known to. So these policy experts have very good knowledge about the same, and they can really guide you well in the diverse team assembly. The next comes is foster collaboration. Encourage a culture or collaboration and respect for differing viewpoints to enhance creativity and problem solving. So what happens in this case is everyone has got a different way of presenting their views as an individual, means creating an environment where individuals or teams work effectively towards sharing goals. It includes the respect that we have for each other. When we are placing our opinions, we have an open communication. And even when people from different backgrounds come together to work at one floor, they have got the trust among participants or within themselves. The next one, sir. Next one is creating a collaborative space. As you can see the back picture also, it defines a bit of that. Let's see how does creating a collaborative space works for a social lab. Whenever we are experimenting, it is not that it is we have got some bottles and we have got some funnels etc to work upon. There are some kind of chemical reactions going on in a social lab like a science one. No, it does not happen that ways. It is an essential designing which is there. Let's see how does it works. An open layout. What do you mean by an open layout? Facilitates communication by removing barriers and promoting interaction. And how does that interaction takes place when an open layout? It emphasizes the flexibility, visibility, and interaction among participants. All the people sit together, they have their views without having any barriers, and they have open interaction towards the problem solving issue. They discuss it, and they have different ways of telling their problems without having any barriers, but with respect and trust, as per the previous slide. The next thing is we have flexible furniture. We have seen that there are various sitting arrangements in the offices as well. Why are they important? Like we have a gathering, we have a separate setup for the people to have in a meeting. One is the head sitting in front, and the remaining people are sitting on chairs on around side of the table. So even here, the flexible furniture is required, which allows it allows for different group configuration to adapt various activities. So before doing or during the research, setup of everything, even the furniture plays a very important role. Furniture can be rearranged, can be expanded easily to fit the changing needs. For example, if it is a table, it can be used for a meeting or also, and it can be used as a workspace for a person to work in person also. The next comes is the third one is technology access. Provide necessary tools for remote collaboration, ensuring seamless connectivity. Whenever we are working in a social lab, there are certain apps being introduced in the social lab. Why are these apps essential? These apps are essential for all the people there who are there and engaged in the testing process, in the research process, and in the communication also. So all employees can access necessary apps and files from any of their devices is also a major important thing to be played upon. So technology access is it should be seamless in connectivity. It should be accessible by everyone who is there working upon the same objective to fulfill their missions. Next, sir. Yes. Sir, a bit down, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see through this picture and have an imagination into our minds. How can an engaging with the community means? effective strategies for gathering community input and feedback. Whatever community we are in and we are working upon, we have got different ways of working. The one is partnership. Collaborate with local organizations to strengthen reach out and engagement. I hope you remember engaging means including the stakeholders also. Partnership with local organizations. Social means not only in the lab or the workspace. We have got local organizations. They are working before us for a particular objective. So we can collaborate with them. We can collect data from them, and then we can strengthen our research to find out the objective. Next comes the surveys. Surveys also play a very important role. Utilize tools like Google Forms to collect valuable feedbacks and opinions. Social labs have got this way also as a testing way. So how does survey works? Like we fill Google Forms with certain questions being asked by the general public, and they give valuable feedbacks, and few of the feedbacks are so much interesting that they help to solve the problems that are there in the social labs or whatever we are working upon as in the team. They give really very valuable feedbacks and opinions to us that are very much helpful for doing so. Workshops also plays an important role. See, so where social labs are working, a lame or a general person cannot work that way. But sometimes even the workshop hosts sessions together, input and ideas from the community members, and they also give a very good review for the same to work upon. So the next slide, please. This is a very innovative process, designing the innovative process, a comprehensive guide to the social lab. These are the various processes that are there to understand how does it works. Understand the purpose of a social lab. Identify the goals and objectives that the social lab aims to achieve, focusing on a social innovation. Whenever we are touching up one particular issue, we are able to go on to the next step, that is engage stakeholders early. Involve key stakeholders from the beginning to ensure the needs and insights shape the lab's focus. When we are focusing upon one target, these outsiders or stakeholders take hold of everything if we are keeping them right in touch right from the starting, sharing each and every data of the research with them, and having and giving them updation about the same. Then create a collaborative environment as we have learned previously. Foster a space that encourages collaboration among participants to generate innovative solutions. Innovative solutions can be done through workshops, which serve as a structured interaction sessions and aims at fostering collaboration among diverse stakeholders. And the workshop focuses upon the co-creation, allowing participants to explore complex societal changes, hands-on activities and discussions. There is one more thing that comes into existence, like unlike traditional meetings or training sessions or workshops in a social lab, which emphasizes on experimental learning and collective problem solving, which enables to develop, test, innovates also. Then next comes is develop a structured process. Establish a clear framework for how the lab will be operated, including stages of innovation and evaluation. Then next is utilizing design, utilize design thinking. Whatever we have planned in our minds, it should come on the papers with the principle, with the solution, and everybody in the team should be able to understand and must be very friendly to address the problem to solve it. Then next is iterate and prototype. Prototype solutions. What do you mean by the term iterate? Iterate means to repeat a process or an action multiple times, often with a goal of refining or improving the outcome. Even in computing and mathematics, it refers to executing a sequence of operations on each item in a set or applying a procedure repeatedly until a specific condition is being met. So that is said to be to iterate it. Iterate is to repeat or to do it again and again. What do you mean by the term prototype? We have to do both the ways, iterate and prototype. So iterate is repeating again and again, and prototype is an early model or a sample of a product used to test concepts and process before the final productions. So it allows designers or whatever the functions they are going through or the processes they are going through. So it allows it to have a particular design or a concept for it. They identify help flaws at an early stage. Whatever objective we are going to fulfill, it allows to have an they help to identify flaws at an early stage, ensuring more effective final decision making of a particular aim. Then measure impact and outcomes. Earlier on the first slide only we have been through the same, that you should implement metrics to assess the effectiveness of the solutions developed within the lab. So they should be measurable outcomes, ensure sustainability. Whatever the plan is there, the plan is for the long-term sustainability of the social lab, and it initiates to maximize the impact. Whatever the results are, they are for a longer term. For example, when we talk about waste management system, wherein we have degradable and biodegradable resources, and we are having the waste which we are refining it again and using it again for a longer period of time, so they have got maximum longevity in that. Next slide. Utilizing data for decision making. Sitting arrangements, furniture, iterating, partnerships, surveys, workshops, multidisciplinary team. This all gives an output to whatever the data we have collected. So let's see how how we should utilize the data for decision making at the end. Qualitative data sources. When you talk about qualitative data resources, what does it mean? Utilize methods like interviews and focus groups together in depth insights. Even the interviews give you a big data, and it is a qualitative data which finds you solve the problems really well, and they will give you an in-depth to make a correct decision. Next comes is quantitative data sources. It is not only the qualitative, but statistical data through surveys and metrics for measurable insights. that are there that comes upon the same. Save Survey Monkey for sources. Employ Survey Monkey to create and distribute online surveys efficiently. Tableau of visualization. Use Tableau to visualize data effectively, making complex information understandable. There are many informations which are there in the coding systems and in the data, which are in a computer language which we even cannot understand. So this Tableau data gives a good understanding to the same. Just a short review to the Tableau. Tableau is a powerful data visualization tools that enables user to transform raw data into interactive and insightful visual representation. And it is widely used by analysts, scientists, business professionals to create charts, graphs, and dashboards that facilitates data storytelling and decision making. Tableau supports various data sources, allowing users to clean, analyze, and visual data efficiently without requiring extensive technical skills. It is user-friendly interface actually. One question from other side I found. What are monkey surveys? I have to explain that, right? Okay. Actually, the term monkey surveys does not appear directly in the search. It is these surveys could involve behavioral studies, like habitat, preferences, or social interactions that are there among the monkey species. If you meant by monkey survey, it is popular online platform for creating and distributing surveys, allowing users to gather insights from various population efficiently things. And monkey surveys are basically templates to customize your own designs, questions, that ways. I hope that is clear. The next slide, sir. You're welcome, Punita Kaur. The next is implementing and scaling solutions. Start with a small group to test the solutions and gather the insights. A pilot program, to explain, it is a small scale preliminary initiative designed to test the feasibility and effectiveness of a new project, product, or services before full scale implementation. A rough sketch that is made is said to be a pilot program. It has got limited scope, defined duration is there, measurable goals are there, and risk mitigation is there. So a pilot program is a small scale preliminary initiative designed to test the feasibility and effectiveness of a new project. So this is the first step. The next is scaling up. Explore opportunities for broader applications to maximize impact. So scaling up refers to the process of expanding something to increase the capacity to reach or impact. This often involves implementing strategies to enhance productivity, improves processes, and increase the targets. The next is feedback loop. What do you mean by feedback loop? Continuously gather feedbacks from participants, offer ongoing improvements. Whatever the search or researches are there, a feedback loop is a process where the outputs of a system are used as inputs. Whatever we have done, one kind of research, we have done a strategy, then we are implementing it again. On that one, feedback is many feedbacks are required. From those feedbacks, one more input is being created. So it is like something like a loop. It typically involves 4 stages: action, monitoring, feedback, and adjustments again. So, feedback loops are crucial in various contexts, including the customer's experience also. But when it comes to social lab, it comes to fostering the adaptability for an overall performance. So, the next slide, please. The next come is the engagement rates. Essential matrix for evaluation in a social lab. Engagement rates. What are engagement rates? It's a key metric in a digital marketing or social media that measures how actively users interact with the content. Like whatever we have done, those are being calculated with certain rates. The next comes is outcome changes that are there. Outcome changes measures improvements in targeted social issues to evaluate the lab's effectiveness. See, outcome changes to refers to modification made to the primary or secondary outcomes of something. The next is community feedback. Utilize satisfaction surveys post implementation to gather community insights or feedbacks. So done. The next is fostering continuous learning adaptation. Strategies for enhancing the lab requires regular reflection sessions. What are regular reflection sessions? Schedule meetings to discuss insights and challenges, fostering to a culture to continuous improvements that are there. So regular reflection sessions, they are basically they involve structured opportunities for individuals or teams to pause and evaluate the process experiences which they have been doing and to promote learning and improvements. So this generally requires your collaboration, your frequency, the safe environment in which you are testing it out, and so on. Then next is the documentation. Documentation is to keep the records of the processes and outcomes for future references, ensuring valuable lessons are captured. So documentation refers to the written material described to explain or instruct regarding a process or a system that whatever we have studied upon. It is a written document kept for a record. It can be an internal documentation also, and it can be an external documentation also. And internal documentation, as for this, is created for use within an organization, which is designing the specifications and guidelines for a problem solving issue. or it can be an external ones for the end users. End users are the ones who are said to be external stakeholders. Those were the ones who had to be engaged right from the starting till the end. And the next one is external stakeholders, including user manuals and documentations. Then next comes in the networking, which is very much easy. Engage with other social labs. It is not only one social lab that works. There are n number of social labs that work for the benefits of the societies. So whatever one social lab is working upon, they should have a network with the other one also. Maybe their experiences and learnings gives you a better way and perspective for giving the best practices to your social labs. So the next slide. So let's start your social lab journey today. That's the end of the session. Ravi sir, up to you. So you are on mute, I guess.
Yes, yes. So those who have doubts about the session can ask the resource person. If you have got any doubts, we are open for like Q&A session. Please do ask. No. Fine. So we welcome you to give your valuable feedback to the resource person. Punita ma'am has mentioned, very well explained. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Would someone like to give your valuable feedback? That will be really motivating for the resource person so that we can upgrade ourselves for the next session. Yeah. Lata ma'am, please.
It was very well organized and very well delivered. And I really liked it a lot. I just wanted to actually know this. I could not put on the question earlier. Whether how often should these kind of labs be conducted in a school setting, if we are talking about,
Ma'am, it can be conducted in such a way, like suppose they have got a small topic like climate and weather conditions. So the children can come in groups and sit in a particular area, and they might be given some case study or a certain condition wherein, like suppose they are living in some extreme climate, how will they have their climatic conditions, how will they live, and what all other things they will be having there to improve their living conditions. So that ways they can be given different topics. It can be basically in geography it can be done the utmost, even for history and all it is there, but those are like fossils and all, so it comes to a different segment, but in geography it can be done at most.
Thank you, ma'am. A very well delivered and very nice topic, ma'am. And I really got to know a lot of things today, which I had not known before. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Lata ma'am. So that is the end of the session. Still, if anyone would like to give your feedback, kindly do give your feedback. Well organized and easy to follow. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So thank you one and all once again. So those who wish to grab a certificate for this session, you all know how you are supposed to do that. You have to send 50 rupees to the number which I am writing in the chat box, 990-892-5730. 990-892-5730. Yes, Punita ma'am, you would like to speak. Yes.
Sir, the only thing I found negative about this thing is I had written it also that the font of the presentation was too small because I am
Okay.
observing it from the phone. Na?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. We'll try to fix it next time. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. So those who wish to grab a certificate can forward rupees 50 either by Google Pay or Phone Pay to the number that has been written in the chat box. Once you do it, kindly send a screenshot of your payment to the same number through WhatsApp along with your complete name which you want on the certificate. In case you're concerned about Mr. and Mrs. and all, kindly mention that. So that within 24 hours, you will be getting your certificate. And the amount that you need to pay is 50 rupees towards the certificate. Yes. So that's how it is. Thank you one and all. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.